Recently, I was completely shocked by a suspenseful and brain-burning movie. It reversed the plot, and the viewers were very satisfied with it. The screenwriter also played various foreshadowing Easter eggs perfectly, even allowing the audience to see the final scene of the movie. They couldn't help but want to overturn all the previous guesses. Although less than 20,000 people have watched this old movie released in 1998, they all express such emotions uniformly. The story takes place in a seaside town in Florida, USA. The male protagonist Sam is a high school teacher in the town. He has a handsome and charming appearance, and is also very humorous and witty. Every time he appears, he can captivate the female fans present, and even the beautiful school flowers on campus admire him. On that day, Lisa took the initiative to knock on Sam's door and announced that she had signed up for a social practice activity. This time, she came to help Sam clean the car, but after washing it for a long time, the car didn't get much water, but Lisa slipped into Sam's room soaked all over. Looking at the seductive and graceful body in front of him, Sam suddenly froze in place at a loss. But within 2 minutes, Lisa, who was disheveled, ran out with a face full of anger and cried to her mother when she got home, saying that she had just been snatched from her bag by Sam. After hearing this, my mother was furious and immediately brought Lisa to the police station to report the case. As the most powerful aristocratic family in the small town, Lisa's mother cannot accept such shame at all. She demands that the police must severely punish Sam, this scumbag, and give her daughter justice as soon as possible. But the whole case only had Lisa's one-sided statement without any substantial evidence, and after watching Lisa's confession video, police Kevin found that the girl not only had multiple loopholes in her words, but also had very obvious traces of performance, unlike the victim who had experienced this incident. Although other colleagues also agreed with Kevin's point of view, the influence of the Vanessa family was too great, and the director ultimately ordered a thorough investigation to ensure that Sam must be sent to prison. Soon, the police received a new clue. It turned out that there was a female student named Sophie at Sam's high school, who also accused the police that Sam had snatched his bag, and the way he committed the crime perfectly matched Lisa's confession. Sam became the target of public criticism in an instant. He not only lost his classroom job at school, but was also sent to prison by the police on suspicion of being forcibly imprisoned. Soon, on the day of the court trial, Lisa tearfully accused Sam of his crime, and Sophie, as a witness, followed closely behind. He confidently recounted Sam's various evils, as if he were a scumbag worse than a beast. And these words also successfully aroused the sympathy of the jurors, who immediately demanded that the judge impose a maximum punishment on Sam. As the matter was about to settle, Sam's defense lawyer suddenly stepped forward and submitted an important piece of evidence to the court. Originally, in May of last year, Sophie was detained by the police for burglary. During the detention period, he called Sam once, hoping that he could come to the police station for bail. However, at that time, Sam was unable to arrive due to a business trip, which led to Sophie being detained in the juvenile detention center for an additional 6 months. The lawyer also raised his doubts. If Sophie had really been violated by Sam before, why did he call him to seek help? So Sam's lawyer is very suspicious that Sophie may have acted in retaliation out of resentment toward Sam. Faced with the lawyer's pressure step by step, Sophie was immediately silenced when asked. In the end, she couldn't resist the pressure and confessed all the truth. Sam
Bardo didn't rape me. Rape Kelly either, he didn't do anything.
This is ridiculous! Witness has been directly threatened by defense counsel.
I think I made it plain this court intends to hear Miss Toller's story.
Lisa, as the lawyer said, used to be good friends with Sam, but since he went to prison, he has harbored a grudge against Sam and has been looking for an opportunity to retaliate against him. However, recently Lisa found herself and said that she loves Sam very much, but the other party mercilessly refused him. That's why Lisa had love and hate, and found herself to unite and falsely accuse Sam scum. The whole incident suddenly reversed, Sam transformed from the defendant to the plaintiff, and Lisa also changed from the victim to the perpetrator. If Sam refuses to withdraw the charges, Lisa will definitely be sentenced to prison for false accusation. In order to maintain the reputation of her family, Lisa's mother had no choice but to mediate privately. He compensated Sam with his 10 million yuan trust fund in exchange for the other party's withdrawal and settlement. After learning about this, Lisa was very angry. He scolded Sam and said that the $10 million was his grandfather's inheritance, but he was actually scammed away by Sam, a scumbag. However, surprisingly, Just as Sam returned to the hotel exhausted, Lisa and Sophie had already been waiting here for a long time. It turned out that all of this was a conspiracy of 3 people, with the purpose of deceiving Lisa's grandfather's inheritance, because this money still belongs to his mother, and as long as the other party is still alive, Lisa cannot use a single penny. And now, with the 3 of them playing this bitter trick, they have actually tricked this money into their hands. But just as the 3 of them were about to leave, police officer Kevin keenly sensed the cat's tricks. By retrieving the consumption records of Sam and others, Kevin inferred that these 3 people are likely to be a group. And he also found out that Sam only opened 2 accounts abroad, so it seems that the other party only intends to take away 1 girl, and the fate of the other person must be predictable. In order to prevent a possible murder from happening in the future, Kevin quickly found Lisa and Sophie, and told them all of Sam's little actions. Unexpectedly, these 2 women didn't believe Kevin's words at all, and instead looked eagerly prepared to fly with Sam. However, as Kevin had expected, Sam quickly revealed his killing intent. He used the excuse of dating to lure the 2 girls to the beach, and then worked hard with Lisa to drink at Sophie. Just as the other party was drunk and unconscious, Sam quietly hinted to Lisa to reserve tools for Xiangda, while he himself took the opportunity to lift the bottle in his hand and without hesitation knocked on Sophie's head. Soon, the 2 of them wrapped the body up and threw it into the trunk. Then they drove to a remote swamp where Sam carried the body and buried it deep in the swamp. The next day, Kevin came again to check the situation of the 2 girls, but by this time Sophie had already disappeared without a trace. Thinking of this, Kevin suddenly had a bad premonition. Based on clues provided by nearby neighbors, he found the beach where several people drank last night and found 2 missing teeth and blood stains on the boat. Although Sophie's body was not found nearby, her intuition told Kevin that the other party should have been more or less unlucky. In order to prevent Sam's dog from jumping over the wall and killing again, Haiwen quickly came to Lisa's house again, trying to persuade him to reveal all the truth. But just a few minutes after he walked into the room, there were suddenly a few gunshots coming from inside. Then Kevin stumbled out of the room and said that Lisa had already been shot and died. Turns out, just as he walked into Lisa's room, she suddenly went crazy and fired a shot at him. Although she tried her best to persuade the other person not to be impulsive, Lisa refused to listen and continued to shoot. In order to protect herself, she had to shoot back, but unexpectedly hit the other person's vital area directly. Due to the discovery of Sophie's bloodstains in Lisa's car, this case was quickly defined as Lisa's retaliatory homicide, while Kevin encountered a suspect's gun during the investigation process, which forced him to shoot back and kill the other person. Although Kevin's behavior was not enough to constitute a crime, he ultimately lost his job under the pressure of Lisa's mother. As for the Sam's fraud case that he has been investigating, due to the deaths of all the parties involved, it can only be left unresolved in the end. I thought the matter had settled, but unexpectedly, the biggest reversal of the entire film suddenly appeared. It turned out that Sam had been enjoying a wealthy life like a tycoon abroad since leaving the small town, but on that day, he had just finished sunbathing and returned to his room when he found that someone was taking a shower in his own room. Sam panicked and walked up to check, only to find that the person inside was actually the police officer Kevin. Turns out Kevin was the mastermind behind the entire conspiracy. He and Sam laid out this trap together, with the aim of defrauding Lisa's mother of huge compensation, and Lisa's death was not an accident at all, it was completely part of their plan. Originally, they had already agreed on a plan to divide the spoils. Sophie was taken care of by Sam, while Lisa was left to handle it herself. On that day, as soon as he entered Lisa's house, he directly shot and killed the other person. In order to successfully exonerate himself, he stuffed another gun into Lisa's hand, successfully creating the illusion that Lisa had shot and refused arrest. Now that all obstacles have been cleared, the 2 can finally smoothly share the spoils and leave. But when Sam heard Kevin's request, he said that the bank still needed 2 more working days to complete the fund transfer, and hoped that Kevin could patiently wait for an additional 2 days. However, while the 2 were out on a trip to the sea, Sam suddenly told Kevin that there was something wrong with the overturned cable and asked the other party to go and check it out. But just as Kevin lowered his head to carefully examine, Sam suddenly turned around and threw the other person into the sea. But Kevin, after all, is a police officer who has been working for so many years. With extremely strong physical fitness, he suddenly grabbed the cable and struggled to climb back onto the yacht again. The 2 people who tore their faces apart no longer had any concern, and on the spot, they picked up weapons and fought against each other with cows. Just as Sam was beaten to the point where he had no strength to fight back, a crossbow arrow suddenly pierced Kevin's thigh. He looked incredulously at the bow of the other side of the ship, only to find that it was actually the already dead Sophie. So, before Kevin could react on what was going on, Sophie put on the fishing gun again and pulled the trigger. Originally, on the beach, Sophie did not die. He just collaborated with Sam to play a bitter trick. He deliberately pulled out his 2 teeth and pretended to be killed. After solving Kevin, only Sophie and Sam were left on the ship. As the ultimate winner of this scam, Sophie happily poured Sam a glass of wine, but the cautious Sam was worried about the poison in the wine and dared not drink it. Sophie quickly smiled when she saw this, saying that this was a remote and uninhabited deep-sea area, and she didn't know how to operate a yacht. Even if she wanted to take action, she wouldn't choose this place. Upon hearing these words, Sam immediately let go of his guard and drank all the fine wine in his glass. But what he never expected was that shortly after finishing his drink, he felt a sharp pain in his abdomen and his whole body involuntarily twitched. Before Sam could react, Sophie untied the rope on the sail and threw Sam directly into the vast sea. Sophie, who had always been regarded as a chess piece, was the one who laughed until the end. He has been holding back, seemingly ordinary but actually a highly intelligent criminal genius. He first used the illicit relationship between Sam and Lisa to threaten them to join his scam plan, and then had Sam win over police officer Kevin, who had signed a bunch of debts. The reason why he set up a trap to lure the 3 of them into being hooked was entirely because these people had caused him harm before. It turns out that Lisa's mother once killed a business competitor through unfair means, and that competitor was Sophie's father. And police officer Kevin accidentally shot and killed his only younger brother during an arrest operation. As for Sam, this promiscuous scumbag, it's entirely his own fault and he can't blame anyone else at all. What's even more alarming is that even the lawyer who initially helped Sam in the lawsuit was secretly arranged by Sophie. Originally, the lawyer was his father's lifelong friend and the only informant of the whole matter. However, just as the 2 parted ways, the lawyer quietly said to Sophie, "Be careful." This inexplicable sentence once again made people unable to stop speculating whether the lawyer also had some undisclosed secrets. This 1998 film, The End of the World, is simply a complete reversal to the extreme. The plot inside is full of twists and turns, filled with various idiots. The clever design of the characters in the novel makes everyone seem innocent, but after the reversal, they become darker and darker. Even in the final scene of the movie, there is a hidden ultimate reversal that may overturn the entire plot.